You know what sucks about sports? When you play an almost perfect game. You play fantastic. Yeah, sure, there's a little bit of spurts there where you're stuck in your defensive zone. The other team gets a few chances, but overall, you're dominant. You play a great back third. And one mistake, one tiny mistake, one poor decision changes everything. Oh, and also that your team can't win in overtime and are now 1-5 or 1-6 in OT this year. Like a team that talented, you have Matthews, Nylander, and Liljegren, who I wanted to start last overtime instead of Marner, Riley, and Tavares. And they still couldn't do anything. William Nylander forgot that he was an absolutely amazing player that entire game against Long Island. Instead, overtime, he's tentative. He's scared to just take the puck. He's making terrible decisions. They tried to give the goal to the Islanders a lot earlier. And then eventually, the Islanders did score, and it wasn't even really a fault. I guess if you were going to fault it, it'd be Bunting for not following his man. But do they play like a zone defense when they're 3-on-3? Are they following a guy around? I don't know. It didn't work, and the Leafs really need to focus on 3-on-3 because they have now given up, 4 points? 5 points. They've given up 5 points, 1-5, in overtime alone. It's frustrating. Anyway, speaking of the game, I thought the Leafs came out great. They outshot the Islanders 7-0. They had tons of chances. And then they had shifts where, they didn't even get a shot on net, but it was just dominant. Busy work without any oomph. Then the Islanders, of course, they get their chance. They get it back to 7-6 in shots. And, of course, they score first. It's unfortunate the Dobson shot hit off camp and went in. I thought Shalgren was playing well. I thought the Leafs were playing well. Down 1-0. Crap. But that's okay. The Leafs power play gets them back in it with a great little bumper pass down. It was like Willie to Marner, Marner back to Willie, Willie quickly up to Tavares, Tavares there scores, Pulock overplays Marner, Pelech overplays Nylander. That allows Tavares to score, just beat Sorokin. I must say though, Sorokin, he made a big save on, I think it was William Nylander just before that, and then he did the exact same thing the other way in the third period on Mitch Marner, and he did it all game where he was phenomenal. Oh my God, Sorokin is a beast. But, okay, Leafs 1-1, go into the third period, and third period? No, it might have been second period still. Yeah, second period. Liljegren puts one on net, and Matthews with an amazing tip, that high tip. It goes through one of the Islanders' legs and in. It was lovely, celebratory, great. Sandin even fought at one point in the game after Matthews gets clipped by Wahlstrom, and he's just like, screw it, I guess I'm going to fight, and everyone loved it. Fans loved it. We loved it. Fans in the stadium loved it, or in the rink loved it. Arena, whatever we're calling it now. It kind of sucked because the Leafs only had 4D because Morgan Riley got hurt, and it was just announced that he's on IR, so now it's at 10 games or 24 days. Oh my God. Mete, I guess you're coming up, or Crawl, or who? So, Brody's out longer because his oblique injury isn't progressing as quick as possible. Muzzin's definitely out for always. Riley's out for at least 10 games. I don't want Dubas to make a trade, by the way. I want them to survive these 10 games with what they have. Don't make a trade. Don't do it. Don't overpay. Wait it out. Wait it out. I was listening to the CJ show on the SDPN network or whatever on YouTube, and he mentioned about the Leafs could go for a defenseman. They could go for a forward at the deadline because they'll have that cap space. They'll have Muzzin's 5.625 or whatever it is. And I was thinking, ooh, Patty Kane would be fun. But obviously that's just wishful thinking. But I'm I'd rather them shore up those top two lines and then have better depth on third and fourth line with healthy defensemen, obviously. But who knows? And then, of course, Islanders eventually tied up after the Leafs have a fantastic third period. And what really upset me is because you watch multiple plays where the Islanders dumped it in and Shalgren just let it go. and the D went to the boards. Same play was happening, but Shalgren decides, maybe it's going a little bit too slow. I see Pajot there, even though Islanders are changing, and he goes to just pass it to Ben along the boards, but he thought he was somewhere else. It looked like he hooked it with his heel. Turnover, and Josh Bailey scores to make it 2-2, and then the Islanders keep storming back, and I'm like, no, my God, this is how it's going to end. Then the Islanders played a type of hockey where they're like, we just want to survive and get guaranteed to get this point. AKA, we just need to get to overtime. We know we're going to win against the Leafs in overtime, and that's exactly what happened, and it worked. And that was the mistake. Not the shot by Dobson that went in with traffic. Those things happen, okay? The Leafs play a great game. They battle back. They tie it up. They take the lead. They're great defensively. Sandin's stepping up and fighting. They're playing well. Shalgren's making some good saves. They're getting lots of chances on Sorokin. They're out shooting him by 10 to 12 shots. Sorokin's making some stellar saves. He's keeping the Islanders in it. And then one terrible play. I'm sure, I haven't seen Steve Dangle's LFR yet, but I'm sure he's yelling 10 the goal, probably to the top of his lungs. He probably doesn't even have a voice now. If this was like that watch a Leafs game with Steve Dangle on a Saturday, guaranteed he would have lost his voice at that, because that's all I can think of him. Good thing, I watched a bit, I saw some Edmonton highlights, and it looks like Stuart Skinner did the same thing, so that's okay. But yeah, it's frustrating, because Shalgren had a great game, and he makes that one poor decision, which the Leafs do often. Their D do it, their forwards do the same kind of play, a bad, terrible pass. This time, though, it was the goalie, couldn't get set back in. Bailey hits him short side. Okay, they go into OT, and Beauvillier eventually snipes. Beautiful shot. Hall, I think he had his man, but then Bunting called him off, so he couldn't close the gap quick enough on Beauvillier. Beauvillier is fast, couldn't get that stick in there. It was a good shot by him. Islanders win 3-2. Do the Leafs deserve better? Yes. Do they deserve the win? No, because they made the mistake, and those tiny mistakes can cost you. They cost you in the first round of playoffs. They cost you in Game 7. They cost you now in Game 20. So, Leafs lose. What comes out of it? Shalgren played well. They made a mistake. Should Shalgren have started? Yes, he should have, because the Leafs have been on like a 4-game win streak or whatever, even more against the Islanders. There was a big thing that popped up that Barzal hasn't gotten any points, anything against the Leafs in the last 4 games. You couldn't tell because Barzal was just freaking a little water bug out there. He was fantastic against the Leafs, and he was dangerous all night. But you put him in, you give Murray a chance to have a little bit of rest. He just come back from injury. You don't want to overwork him. And he's been fantastic since being back. So give Shalgren the chance. Okay, played well. I thought all 4 lines did their job. They had extended zone time throughout. They had a few lulls in their game that allowed the Islanders to get back, but it was only a couple of minutes. But majority of the game, I thought Leafs controlled it, and they were the better team. They showed they were the better team. Unfortunately, sometimes the better team doesn't always win. What do we have to worry about as fans? Obviously, the defense. Riley's out. Brody's out. So your top 2 D, gone. You can have Liljegren and Gio playing there. Cool. You got Sandin. All right. And Ben. All right. And then Hall. Okay. And then who do you fill in there? I'm guessing Mete comes in. Get a bit more speed. Offensively driven, sure. Who takes Riley's minutes? I'm guessing Sandin's going to get more minutes. Hall and Liljegren. I think all their minutes are going to pop up. And then Gio, I don't think he doesn't need to take anymore. He's the oldest goddamn skater in the league. Ben, he's fine with what he's doing. Mete will come in for, you have to play 14 to 16 at least, maybe more. It might be more even throughout the lineup. What I am looking forward to, actually, though, is either Liljegren or Sandin on the power play. That's what I want to see on that number 1 unit. And because you saw tidbits last year that Sandin can quarterback his own unit. You've seen it this year because he runs the second unit. But maybe he could replace Morgan Riley down the line anyway. Yeah. worrisome for the Leafs, but I don't. And it's even more worrisome, because I'm worried they're going to make a panic move, and that's going to cost them later on. I think just try to weather the storm these next 10 games. You did it without both your starting goalies, and your third string somehow pulled it together. Go with that. But comment down below your thoughts on the game, your thoughts on Morgan Rielly. What are they going to do on the defense? What is the lineup going to look like? And what can Toronto do to fix their 3-on-3 hockey? Because it is dreadful. You might as well turn the TV off and go, well, they're losing. Because that's what their brains did again. All right, that's it for me. I'm out. On to the next one. Who knows what lineup's going to be. Go Leafs, go.